Hello everyone, Dundalk TV is back with Pastor Ray, and we're continuing to let the viewers know what is going on in the Dundalk area. So when I was talking to the pastor the other day, he had shared with me that his problems and the church's problems really had begun when the sale of the North Point Government Center came up. And we have put out information about that in the past, and we're getting a lot of pushback by our elected officials. They don't like for the truth to be out there. So we're continuing to move forward nonetheless. In the past, we have also reached out to the FBI and the Department of Justice, and unfortunately, they have not done anything to help resolve this issue either. So the pastor in our conversations that when we had them from time to time had shared with me that he has a new plan to bring this situation to a resolution. So Pastor, what did you feel that we could do to have the federal government come in and help us out?
Well, I would first off like to say to those out there in the Dundalk area, the watching area for Dundalk TV, that our church was pulled into a fight that we did not want. When the government center was going to be destroyed and there was going to be shops in that area, our problems started with the local politicians. And we tried our best. We were reaching out to every one of them. All the ones in District 7 was contacted, and we asked them for help, and we did not receive any help from them. We recently have been in contact with Delegate Metzgar, who talked to me in December and said that he was going to try to resolve all of the issues that we had as a church and with Baltimore County and the state. 6 months has passed. All of the promises that were made that everybody was on board, everybody was going to be involved in clearing this up, fell through. So our plan that we now have is there's a new federal judge, and we are going to send a letter to him and request a federal grand jury investigation. Now, under the federal law, it's my understanding if it's important to the people or a concern to the people, a federal grand jury must be called. That would mean they would have to have evidence coming from the citizens of this area to show the grand jury that there's reason for them to proceed. We have enough evidence as a church. We know that our deed to our property is very clear. The property that was up for sale or that was on that map for the government center, part of it was the church's land. And what we are now in a position is everybody wants to know why the pastor of the church is doing what he's doing. My responsibility is to the church. We want peace, we want harmony, and we would like to keep our property just the way that it is. So if we file for the petition and the judge accepts our request, we probably are going to have a number of people sign this petition. And if you're out there and you care about the government center as we care about the church and the government center, we're going to ask you to please sign the petition. It may not be needed, but we are planning on having it just in case.
Yes, and that would be Councilmanic District 7 and District 6 for the delegate and senators. So yes, this is great news. I'm very happy that you came up with this. The people had signed petitions before that was over 7,000 signatures that went to the governor, and the governor and lieutenant governor, as well as the comptroller, Peter Francho, have stood on the side of the people. They know that the people don't want this property sold and gone to a developer, so they have tabled the issue, and thankfully to them, the developer hasn't moved forward. But this is great news, Pastor. Greatly appreciate all the things that you've done to step up for the community, and now we need the community to stand up with everyone once again, and hopefully we can finally lay this to rest. And in the meantime, I would like everyone to know, though, that the Senator Salings did nothing to stop the sale. Neither did Bob Long or Rick Metzgar, the only one out of the group, or Todd Crandell. Todd Crandell pronounced as well. The only one out of the group of the newly elected officials that did anything was Robin Grammer. Now, the pastor has received a lot of pressure, and Dundalk TV has too, by different people to try to silence us, but that's not going to work. And I would like to thank the pastor again for being so brave to stand up for the community and also the way he has for the church. Pastor, as an American, you have that right, but how do you feel about the way that people are treating you about this situation?
Number one, I want everyone to know that I'm not on this Dundalk TV as a pastor. I am here as a private citizen with one vote and one voice. What disturbs me is the fact that people think taking church property is just okay. If this property belonged to you and you owned it and you paid for it and you worked for it, you wouldn't want anyone to take your property without a fight. And that's the position that our church is in. And we are standing firm on that. Whatever it takes, we will do to make sure our property is left alone.
Well, one of the other things that I wanted to say was that it was amazing how quickly that the delegates and people that we had exposed in the last video had started making different emails. They had started putting things out on Facebook, and also had been sending the emails and all that. But also you had a threat of having the state police called on you, did you not?
Yes, Delegate Bob Long had emailed me, and in fact I put it out on Facebook also, his actual email. And the email was that he asked what if he called the state police on me and explained what I was doing, would that get my attention to stop? And I replied to him no, and I put another post out and I put his voting record out. The issue is his voting record, not what he does in the community. I understand that and I will say openly, he's a good man. He helps people with food, he helps kids with toys, but we didn't elect him to do that. The local churches take care of that. We appreciate that, but his job is in Annapolis to make sure that things go well for our community and that the community is taken care of. And they all fall in line pretty much with him, with the exception perhaps of Robert Grammer, and even though he wrote the letter, the church wasn't involved in that, but he did take a step forward to try to help the community out. So I think that looking at it, that there's a couple of things that we can overlook and simply say, okay, fine. The whole problem is they could have done something. Now it's election time, and they promise you everything, and then they deliver nothing.
Well, as we were heading into the last election, up into the primary and then the general election, they all knew the issue. They all promised they were going to do everything in the world and save this property for the kids and the community. And they failed us. They turned their back on us. So all the people that are out there that are trying to say that Dundalk TV is trying to be nasty or fake news or whatever you're trying to put out there, that's not the truth. The truth of it is they promised to do the right thing for the community. They promised to stand up, and once they were elected, it was not long. Within weeks, they had already turned their back on the community. So they forgot about their promise, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. Now, Dundalk TV has reached out to a gentleman that's running for Congress. We've been talking to a woman who is running for Senate. We also talked to a gentleman that is running for county executive, and I actually am in the race as state senator. So we're all standing behind Pastor Wright and also other individuals in the community that have been fighting to save the North Point Government Center. So it's not that difficult. I mean, I just made a couple calls the other day and everybody's on board. These elected officials have had 3 years, better than 3 years to do this, and they have failed us. So Pastor Wright, would you like to share anything else?
Yes, I think that when I started out, I said that our problems started about the government center when it came up. What the public probably doesn't know, that not only did they try to take part of our land, and we fought that, but they sent a cease and desist order to stop a church program for drug and alcohol a meeting place. We've been here 42 years, helping a lot of families out, and they outright lied and said that we were operating a treatment program. I asked them to charge me. They wouldn't charge me. They wouldn't retract the cease and desist order, and they wouldn't enforce the cease and desist order. When I went to the politicians, none of them gave me any help whatsoever. Here's the problem. I told each of those individual politicians that there would be cataclysmic problems that would surface in our neighborhood. There was a 3-year-old little girl killed by a drunk driver that should have been in treatment. They knew it could happen. An 8-year-old girl in Cecil County was beaten, strangled to death, and raped, and they knew that that man wasn't being properly supervised, and by they, I mean parole and probation. And then another one of my students stabbed a lady, accused of stabbing a lady, 34 times, taking her life in Anne Arundel County. And everything has been totally covered up because they thought we were just going to say, here, take the land, we'll do whatever you want to do. Not Merritt Park. We will fight for what we think is right. And we have the documents to prove everything that I'm saying here to you. So when you get this petition, if it is needed, remember, we have the documents, the courts will want to see those, and we shouldn't have any problem convincing a federal judge that we need an investigation in this area for political corruption.
Please share this important video and sign the petition that will be coming soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.